Hi folks, in a previous video I told you that I recently received a whole bunch of O-gauge samples from Menards so that I could review them, and in the last review we checked out the Menards lighted caboose, so today we're going to check out some Menards boxcars on Eric's Trains. So Menards sent me 6 boxcars to check out. 4 of them are weathered and 2 are not. So we'll check out the non-weathered cars first. So first up we've got a Frisco Boxcar, and just like the Menards cabooses that I already reviewed, these come in a very no-nonsense box. This is a budget-friendly product line, and one of the ways you get it budget-friendly is by not having a fancy box. So let's go ahead and open it up. And there it is. It's very yellow. And if we pull it out of the box, there you can see the label. Menards Gold Line Collection Frisco Boxcar, available only at Menards. So here it is on the track, and just like the Menards cabooses that I already reviewed, keep in mind that this is traditional O-gauge. It's not O-scale. This is not a scale model. It's compressed, semi-scale. It's more like a toy train than a model train. And again, to illustrate the difference, here's traditional O-gauge, and here is an O-scale boxcar. You can see there's a big difference. This one is much larger, and it's got much more detailing. So this is a 1/48 scale model of a boxcar, and this is a compressed semi-scale representation of a boxcar. Now, there are a few reasons someone might want to do traditional O-gauge versus O-scale. Number one is tradition. This is the kind of O-gauge trains that Lionel started making in the post-war period and that they still make today. And so for a lot of people, this is what they started off on and this is what they like to do today. Another reason is cost. These are much cheaper than O-scale models because they're not as detailed and they're smaller. And then finally, these can run on a much tighter curve than O-scale models. So where this boxcar might need O36 or O42 curves to run nicely, this one can run on O27. So if you're modeling in a confined space, oftentimes traditional O-gauge might be the way to go. Now, I want to go in for a closer look at some of the details and features that you get on these cars, but before I do that, I want to talk about the price, because the price is a big factor in the appreciation of these cars. These things are insanely cheap. You can get a brand new boxcar like this on the Menards website for right at $20. That's right, $20. You can get a 4-pack of cars for right at $70. It's crazy. I don't know how they get the prices that low, but $20 for an O-gauge boxcar, you can't beat that price anywhere. Now, just like I've said with some of the other stuff that I reviewed from Menards, for $20, it's important that you set your expectations appropriately. For that price, you're not going to get a car that is absolute perfection right out of the box every single time. These cars look nice, but they're not perfect. You know, the paint job on this car looks pretty good, but here and there you're going to see some overspray and so forth. It's not an absolutely flawless paint job. The trucks and couplers are made of die-cast metal, which is great, but every now and then you'll get one of these cars where the wheels don't spin freely. One or more of the wheels won't spin freely, and in order to fix it, you have to turn the car over and do a little work on the truck to loosen it up to get the wheels spinning freely and running optimally. It takes a couple minutes, it's not a big deal, but every now and then it does happen. But, you know, just like I've said before with the other Menards stuff, for this price, who cares? $20? If they were charging $80 for this car, it'd be a different story. I think I'd have more of an issue with some of the small imperfections on these cars. But for $20, you know, you're not getting perfection. What you are getting is a car that looks nice and runs nice and is one heck of a deal. You just can't beat the price on these things. Anyway, as we take a closer look at this car, the paint job is very nice. It's not perfect, as I said, but that's okay. The ladders are painted on. There's not a whole lot of add-on pieces on these cars. The signage is very good. You can see we've even got a bill of lading up here, the car data, and then on the ends of the car you can see there's great signage there. Very nice. One of my favorite features on this car is the fact that they actually have a metal brake wheel, which is something I really wouldn't expect on a car that costs $20. The doors on these cars actually do open up, like that. Pretty cool. And the door on the other side opens up as well. As I said, the trucks are die-cast metal, and so are the couplers, and we've got metal wheels. The underside of the car is pretty sparsely detailed, as you would expect for $20, but we do have a little add-on piece there, which is nice. And then on the roof of the car, it's pretty plain. The walkway is painted, and again, the paint job is not perfect, but it's perfectly adequate, especially for 20 bucks. All right, so you've been staring at this Frisco Boxcar for a while now, but I've got a couple other examples of the standard $20 boxcar from Menards. I've got this green Lehigh Valley. Looks very nice. And then this is very cool, and this actually came in after I started filming this video, but I've got a J. Shepherd & Sons dog food boxcar, and this complements the J. Shepherd & Sons dog food factory that I just reviewed. All right, so you've seen a few examples of the standard $20 boxcar that Menards offers. Now I'm going to show you a few examples of their weathered boxcars. That's right, they've taken their standard boxcar and weathered it at the factory with an airbrush to make it look a little bit dirty. And that way, if you want a little bit more of a realistic look on your layout, even though this is traditional O gauge, you've got it. So here we have a weathered red Frisco boxcar. And then next up, we've got a really nice looking weathered Milwaukee Road boxcar. And then finally, we've got a weathered B&O Sentinel boxcar that kind of harkens back to post-war Lionel, except this one's weathered. Very cool. And again, these are the same boxcars that you've already seen, just weathered to make them look a little bit dirty. Now, of course, the weathered boxcars do cost a little bit more than the standard boxcars. The standard boxcars are $20. These go for $25, which is still an awesome deal. And just like the standard boxcars, these things aren't absolutely perfect, but for $25, boy, you can't beat that deal. These things are awesome. Now, the 6 boxcars that I've shown you today only represent a tiny fraction of the number of boxcars that Menards has for sale on their website. They've got tons of different road names and even more paint schemes available. So if you want to check out everything they have to offer, just check out the Train Store on the Menards website. All right, that about wraps it up for this review. These boxcars from Menards are such a fantastic deal. The prices just can't be beat. So for those of you who have been looking for an inexpensive way to grow your O-gauge fleet, your prayers have been answered. If you want to buy these, they're available for sale at the Menards website at www.menards.com. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And when you do subscribe, make sure you click that little bell icon so that you get notifications whenever I publish a new video. Now, if you'd like to support Eric's Trains, you can do so through Patreon at www.patreon.com/ericstrains. I'd like to put a big thank you out there to all of my Patreon supporters, especially my first-class supporters. Now, Patreon supporters get early access to all videos, and they also get some behind-the-scenes videos and so forth when they're available, and first-class supporters get their name listed at the end of every Eric's Trains video while they're a supporter. Now, if you'd like to buy some Eric's Trains merchandise, you can do so at the Eric's Trains online store at www.ericstrains.com/store. So I'm going to end this video by running these boxcars around the layout for a minute. I hope you enjoy it. I'm Eric Siegel, and I'll see you next time. You know, I totally left out one of the weathered boxcar samples that I got, and it's actually my favorite, is this Santa Fe weathered boxcar. It looks fantastic. So I've got 6 boxcars, and that's no good. So Menards sent me 6 boxcars to shoot. All right, so you've already seen the Frisco car, and oops, need to close the door. Now, of course, these 6 boxcars that I've shown you here today, the 3 weathered and the 3 non-weathered, they only Now, the 6 boxcars that I've shown you here today, they only represent a small fraction of the. Oops.